We have set all of these records that we never wanted to set that are now there forever. Losing to Ireland at home, losing a series to Ireland at home, losing to Argentina away, losing to Argentina at home. Our record ever defeat.
There's some sports where things haven't been done and they don't need to be done, and there's other sports where things have been incorporated and it's fine, and leave it that way. You can have two things coexisting.
I like the fact that at the end of the game, after 65 or 70 minutes, that some players don't have the lung capacity to keep going. And so you've ground them into the ground, and that's why you're winning that game. DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network, is proudly brought to you by Novus Glass. If you're travelling around the country this summer to a local or an international sporting event and you get a chip or crack in your windscreen, and it can happen, as soon as you notice it, Novus it. Windscreen repair or replacement is easy with Novus Glass. 68 branches around the country. So just call or drop into your local branch direct. Whether it's a cracked windscreen from a rogue cricket ball or a chip from a rogue stone on the road, get it sorted with Novus Glass. Notice it, Novus it.
Welcome to the DSPN.
Team New Zealand's in trouble.
Goal! He's done it again, Ricky Herbert.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Mailbag time. Thank you again for all of your contributions across social media, DSPN YouTube channel. We love them. Well, we don't love them all, because what happens is sometimes the overseer has to come in and they have to do what they do because it gets a little too much. Look, all the debate is brilliant. That's all we're doing here. You can agree to disagree on anything. We're just a bunch of blokes and we're just talking about rugby, and we absolutely adore the fact that you care enough to take the time to write a comment. So we're going to go through some of them. What we've done on the show this week, talked South African rugby, the whole kind of season summed up by Haribaldi Jones, who's one of our regular correspondents, the Lecker Pod, Megaphone podcast as well, love has. TJ, Tony Johnson, on half a dozen things that he'd like to see change to make rugby better to watch next year. Again, it's just open for discussion. No one's right or wrong on all of these things. Matt Burke joined us, the Wallaby legend from 93 through to 04, I think. What a player he was. And his thoughts all about Aussie rugby and can they get back to being a force in time for that World Cup in a couple of years. Yesterday, myself, JD and Watto, regular slot on the show, predicted the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Again, just a bit of fun. Look, the great thing about it is that all of our predictions haven't happened. They may not happen. And if they were to happen, we've got kind of 2 years to figure out how to make them happen in the way that we want them to happen. But we'll kick it off with the double E, Etzebeth. And we talked about this on the show yesterday because he came out on his own social media and has attempted to explain why he, gouged the guy's eye. And look, it's really important just to isolate and separate what's actually happened here. He was charged with the offence. He admitted the offence. He got convicted of the offence. Yeah. Okay, so that's in concrete.
He tried to give context, which means that he's saying, I did it, but this is why I did it.
Yeah, that's all he's trying to do. Ronaldo Griffin says, do you really believe that if he wanted to gouge somebody's eye, the victim wouldn't end up being blind? That's rather extreme. Colt Crowley, in response, says, I'm not sure about that, but I believe he allowed himself to be baited by the Welsh player, saw the red mist, gave him the old as a result, and now he's copped the 12-week ban. And that's also now attached to his career. So, look, I don't doubt at all his genuineness when he says, I didn't intend to do it. I don't believe that any player goes out there intentionally to put their thumb in someone's eye during a game. But what happened, however it happened, he ended up doing that. Now, at any stage when that thumb hit the eye, he could pull the thumb back. It wasn't like, oh, shite, I just touched your eye. He grabbed the guy by the face and was going like this. So he's lost the plot is what's happened. Oh, yeah. And that's all it is. It doesn't mean he's an evil bastard. It doesn't mean anything other than he did it. He's now been convicted of it. Yeah. That's it.
And it happens in sports where the red mist takes over and it's the adrenaline of the moment, and it happens in...
Doesn't mean he's a foul player. He did a foul act, and that's why he's been banned for 12 weeks. That's a long suspension. It's not like he didn't do anything. He did do something, and he's admitted doing it. He's just trying to explain now that he didn't really mean to do it. All right. Which you can take for whatever you want, okay? Because, of course, a player's never going to come out after getting a 12-week ban and go, oh, yeah, I tell you what, I got away with that. Could have been, I really was trying to dig the guy's eyeball out of his face. Was he?
No. But also the whole idea around, like, there's been many eye gouges in sports before where guys haven't been blinded. So if you're trying to eye gouge someone, it doesn't mean that they're going to be blinded. So you can eye gouge without blinding.
It's a foul act, and he got duly punished for it. Can we just leave it there? CT Glasgow says, and we're talking about South Africa. I did a big editorial during the program at the start of the week, saying I'd take a 2-2 draw right now, right? If you offered us a 2-2 draw, as the All Blacks are today, I'd take it. He says we need to win the series. 2-2 is not acceptable. Don't drop the standard. Anything less than a series win is a failure. It can be done unless we feel that pressure. We will not be desperate. We will not be innovative. We will not be stretched to our potential. The reason I put this comment in is I like the attitude. And here am I softening my attitude, going, oh, okay, let's settle for a draw. I like the attitude. That's an old school All Black attitude right there, isn't it? Stuff this, we want to draw. Let's go to win the bloody thing, because if we aren't desperate to win it, we're not going to win it.
Yeah,
we've got to feel that.
Yeah, there's a difference between being desperate to win something and actually being realistic about whether you can. And as much as the All Blacks should have a high standard of wanting to win everything, and they do, and the fans do as well, that's why we get so frustrated when they lose the way they did in Wellington, for example, and against England. We've got to be honest with ourselves that we're not the best team in the world, and we're going on the road to play the best team in the world, who are setting a standard that mirrors what we did for about 7 or 8 years, 10 years ago. So we've got to be realistic about our chances. If we win that series, my goodness, we're okay.
Hello.
We've gone to a new level.
Oh, yeah.
And South Africa now, obviously, will be watching their backs, especially with the World Cup around the corner. But
right now, as it stands today,
the idea of us drawing that series is incredible.
Well, the idea of us winning it, I think, is far-fetched right now. Yeah. But that doesn't mean in a year's time when we get there, that's going to be the case.
You can turn things around pretty quick in sports.
Let's hope so. But 2-2, if we were playing it today, I'd say I'd take the 2-2 draw, because that means we would have beaten you twice out of 4.
Yeah.
And we've only won 3 out of the last 10 against you, isn't it?
Oof. Yeah, that's not great.
On the same subject, and I'm really reluctant now to pronounce these names because of what happened with
Madik.
Yeah. But Kayed Ali Helfizi says, and the same Martin's going to be furious even after getting a 2-2 draw when the All Blacks win by less than 7 points for both those games and lose by 15 and more for the other 2.
No, I don't think so.
Hell yes.
What,
Absolutely.
You'll be annoyed?
Look, it's the same as winning at Eden Park and then getting shellacked the next week 43-10. Of course, I'm never going to be happy if the All Blacks lose badly and lose by a lot. At the end of the series, if it's 2-2, and you take the draw. If we win 3-1 and we get bummed in that last test or whatever.
So what?
But
so
I'm never happy if the All Blacks get beaten and beaten badly.
No,
never.
If we lose by 30 points in 2 matches and we win the other 2 by a combined 6. How would you feel? We've drawn the series. Yes, we've been smacked up in 2 of them, but we've drawn the series. And it's a series away from home.
I would take the 2-2 draw, but I would still be concerned like I was after the Wellington result. Like, what the hell went wrong and how did that happen?
Yeah.
You've got to remember with this All Black side at the moment that since about 2019, we have set all of these records that we never wanted to set that are now there forever. Losing to Ireland at home, losing a series to Ireland at home, losing to Argentina away, losing to Argentina at home. Our record ever defeat. All of these things are now tagged to the All Blacks, and they weren't for 100 and something years. So this team, as much as it talks about its legacy, that's also part of it now.
There's an asterisk, though. Things like that happen with time. You lose records over time. It just happens.
Over time. This have all happened within a really short time.
We were bound to lose to Ireland or Argentina at some point when you consider Argentina have been going upwards since 2007, since they finished third of that World Cup.
But it's coincidental. It's all happened in a period of 5 or 6 or 7 years where we haven't been consistently good.
No, you're right. It's the perfect storm. It's a period where we lost a lot of generational talent and the standard of us just went down a little bit, but the rest of the world caught up.
Yeah.
It's a fair, I hate to admit how great the Springboks are right now, and probably how great they are compared to the All Blacks side of the 2010s, but a fair point that a lot of South Africans bring up is that the All Blacks, they were great. The next best team, well, the next 2, there was maybe 2 or 3 other really good teams, which were Australia and South Africa for the most part of the 2010s. And then the gap was huge, whereas now there's 6 really good teams.
I think so.
So the standard of the rest of the world has come up. That's what's sort of created this, I guess, disapproval of the standard of the All Blacks the last few years. It's not so much the All Blacks have gone down, it's everyone else has caught up, and we need to get used to, that we lose more.
Evil Kiwi NZ talking about Bazball. I love this. Bazball, he defines it as a noun, a quasi-religious cricketing doctrine in which England swing wildly at anything in their postcode, celebrate the result as a tactical masterstroke, and insist it's all part of the plan, gaslighting all who cast out, labelling them as has-beens, often take the form of the common wood duck.
Jeez, someone's
died 7th of December 2025 in Brisbane. I am so with you on this. This whole England cricket team is fraudulent. And the way that they have lost those 2 tests in this Ashes series, look, okay, if you lose and you've competed really hard and the other team plays better and is better, but they commit harikari every time they play. It is just dumbass cricket is what it is. It's inexcusable to do the same thing over and over again against an opponent like Australia and think you're going to get away with it. Stupid shots. And this whole thing of Brendan McCullum, we practiced too hard. Clearly you did, because you dropped every single catch that came your way. So, you deserve to get what you're getting at the moment. England, those fans who spent a hell of a lot of money are really disappointed. They don't hate the players. They don't hate the team. They hate the way that you are playing. And your arrogance and your contempt for the fact that you think you're so goddamn good that you can play like this in Australia against Australia, and you're getting your pants pulled down and you're getting embarrassed. That's why there is so much of this. And I agree with it all. It's a fraud. Bazball is a fraud, is what it is. Play decent test cricket and you might actually be in this Ashes series.
I'll play the devil's advocate, because I like to do that when we have these segments. It is a style that is foreign to test cricket, and it is a style that if it's pulled off and it works, it's wonderful and it's groundbreaking to an extent. So I'll defend Brendan McCullum in his pursuit with that. Secondly, I don't really know if I care that much, because it's not the Black Caps. If it was the Black Caps, I'd care.
I care because it's the Aussies, mate.
Yeah, well,
I want them to lose.
I don't like the attitude of the Australian sports, but it's not just cricket, it's really all of them, to be fair. A lot of the team sports. They're brilliant cricketers. Like Mitchell Stark.
This isn't a great Aussie team.
No, but they before, like Mitchell Stark, what he's doing is insane. Like Travis Head with that innings in that first test. Like it's not by their own standard, it's not a great side. The All Blacks side of the 2023 World Cup, by the All Blacks standards, heading into that tournament, and for the majority of that tournament, wasn't a great All Blacks side, but they nearly damn won the blooming World Cup.
There you go.
So, in that sense, it's great to watch them, because they've just got so many. I know the attitude frustrates me as well, but they're great to watch. And, I just was enjoying Travis Head's innings in that first test.
Mitchell Stark,
first
I thought you meant
every
England.
time. No. And also, I saw a clip of Piers Morgan the other day being interviewed, and he was asked. And now he's not exactly a cricket expert; he's just a pom. He's a fan of cricket, I guess. And he was asked, "Is Bazball genius or idiocy?" And he said, "It's genius."
Great, Piers Morgan. Yeah, he excellent. So that's the endorsement you want, isn't it?
I'll just lean into that.
Don't care about squaring the Ashes as long as Piers is on your case. I love this from Kevin Hewitt. Marty, your God is dead. There is only one Russie. I'm just going to wear this from South African fans forever, aren't I?
Your God?
Your God is dead.
Who's your God?
Well, whatever God I had is dead, and the God is Russie. That's what he's saying. No. I do not worship at the altar of Russie.
No.
I don't. I want to worship at the altar of a All Black coach.
Who would be a sportsman that you would personally, maybe not worship, because that's a bit of an extreme
Eric
word.
Cantona.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was God, as far as I was concerned. In reaction to TJ's trying to fix rugby, we had so many from the Republic, and this Heinrich Swanepoel sums it up. Sounds a bit anti-Springbok. I guess everything South Africa does create success must change. Listen, is there one South African rugby fan in the world who can just... Not everything is about you. How do I say this kindly? We're talking about rugby. It's not about you. Not everything goes through the screen like this. We're just looking at ways that maybe the game might improve. It might be a bit of better spectacle. Okay? God, we're not just... It's like that really annoying person in your flat who every time you're in the lounge, what are you guys talking about? We're not talking about you.
Yeah. Oh, what are you watching? Oh, you guys hanging out? You want to go to the beach? Leave us alone.
J-HON, Tony, you got to embrace Sweet Caroline, mate. Tony said number 7 on his change that you've got to get rid of Sweet Caroline. I know, I can't agree with it. Sweet Caroline is a banger.
Stop it. No, it's not. It was a banger. It's been overplayed and overused. It was like Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes in the 2010s. Just stop it. Get rid of it. Stop it.
But so every single ground around the world plays the same 3 songs.
I know.
Bon Jovi, Sweet Caroline,
Seven Nation Army.
Seven Nation Army.
Yeah. Just go onto Spotify and find a radio of obscure, I don't know, Nigerian jazz and play that. Well, just do something different.
Yeah, I got 2 views on this. And because I was involved with playing music at the cricket, the very first time in the world it was ever played at the cricket was at the Basin Reserve, summer of 96, 97. Myself and Nick Mills were the 2 guys that introduced it. It's now all over the world. So I blame myself for this. In terms of rugby matches, I don't care if there's any music. I don't want music. I'm there to watch a test match. The music to me is the crowd. But if you have to have music at the cricket or at every other sport, what we started doing after a while is that we got bored with playing the same song. So we had theme days, right? And so we had a disco theme day for one of the one days. And so everything was 70s disco or something. And so the next one was country and western or whatever it was. Or it was New Zealand music or whatever it was. So just change it up. But I agree with some of this about it. It's just like, it does bore me, but it's not for me. I don't go to a test match to listen to music.
Even though
I go to a concert to listen to music. I go to a test match to watch rugby.
I think...
Same as English football. I don't want music playing every time there's a break. I want to hear the crowd
there's
sing.
some sports where it works. Like, you kind of need it probably in test cricket because there's a lot of breaks and stoppages and gaps between overs. Same with baseball.
Played for 100 years without it.
I tell you
mate.
what, the gap between innings and baseball, you need some music in there. Rugby maybe as well as a few stoppages. Football,
NBA,
I agree. You need.
They don't play it at the NFL, mate.
Yeah,
they don't need to.
But there's some sports where things haven't been done and they don't need to be done, and there's other sports where things have been incorporated and it's fine and leave it that way. You can have two things coexisting. You can have two things. It's all good.
Cameron JK says, now he's got, I think, 12 zeros, so it's a 1 with 12 zeros. I think that's more than $1 trillion. I can't even figure that out. So he agrees.
6 is $1 million, 9 is $1 billion, 12 would be $1 trillion.
Okay, he agrees 1,000,000,000% that there are too many replacements in rugby. And this is one of the things that Tony Johnson brought up. And I think he's right in that the bench, to me, it was always meant to be injury replacements. Then it turns into kind of a tactical thing where, you know, it helps change your team. But I actually think it's actually taken over a little bit too much of rugby now. And I've always argued for the attrition aspect of it, that by 60 minutes you're meant to be gassed. You know, this whole thing about that, all of a sudden there's 8 guys on the field who've only played for 20 minutes, changes the whole game. If that's what you want...
Well, do what football does, where you limit the number of replacements.
Well, that's what I think it should be. Or what do a league have? They have an interchange where you're only allowed a certain amount of them.
The problem is, and with rugby, is that you, and this is, Mike Cron said this when he was on the podcast, that from a health perspective, particularly your front row, your props and your hookers, they need to be rested. They need to be brought off. So that's 3 replacements right there. So then if you've got 8 on the bench, do you limit it to 5?
Yeah,
6?
I think so. Look, and it's worth experimenting with. I just don't think you want to.
You can bring people back on, there's no limit.
Or what do we do? Are we going to see in 15 years there's going to be another full team on the bench like the NFL? You're going to have 15 on the field and 15 off the field. Is that where we're going?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
no one thought there was going to be 8.
They had 7 replacements and it changed. To be fair, and how many years have I been? 21, 22 years I've been watching rugby. They've only increased the number to 1. That's the only major change they've.
I think this is a good discussion point, and I will argue against. I just think, and it's not again anything about South Africa or the bomb squad. I just think I like the fact that at the end of the game, after 65 or 70 minutes, that some players don't have the lung capacity to keep going, and so you've ground them into the ground, and that's why you're winning that game. This is an attritional sport. It's not like football where you don't play the other team exhausted off the park. Rugby is that sport. So
football can be that sport.
That has to be a huge part of it. Still has to be retained in my book. MJCC 1990 says Tony's 100% right about challenges. Put control back into the player's hands, not a keyboard warrior. A lot of people are arguing against this, saying that it's going to slow the game down, and also stopping the clock's going to slow the game down. These are 2 suggestions that Tony made about. When the ball goes out of play, stop the clock so that, you know, it might only be a 30-minute half, but you'll actually get 30 minutes of rugby, as opposed to some of these halves are going for 50 minutes now, right? In terms of captain's challenge, I kind of like that. I think it works in the NFL. It works in cricket now. And rather than the TMO gets to decide everything, micro-analysing frame by frame, just get the ref to call it. If it's not foul play and you don't agree with the call, once a half, you're allowed to go, hang on, I'll challenge that call.
Yeah.
I think this can work.
Especially if there's a penalty for getting a challenge wrong, because you can't just have unlimited ones. And
No.
If you challenge something and you don't get it right, there's got to be like a penalty.
Yeah, like you lose the next challenge or whatever it is.
Which is what happens in
cricket.
League as well.
And cricket and
league as well.
I think it can work.
What if you did the opposite and you made it like football, that the clock never stops? But you increase the game to 90 minutes.
Well, that's what we're doing at the moment, effectively, aren't we? Because we play, you know, we do play halves of rugby, which can take an hour.
No, but the clock never stops. No matter what, it never stops. You're playing for 90 minutes. If there's stoppages within that 90 minutes because someone's kicked the ball out, that's part of the play. That's part of
like that football.
Why
thing,
not?
Because
Why
I just
not?
don't. I think it's silly. I just think it's silly.
No, I think it's great because it means that if you're the team as well, you've got an amount of time that you have to play to. There's, you know, because the thing that no one really talks about this enough that really infuriates me about rugby is that you can play for 88 minutes if the ball doesn't go out or there's no stoppage. You can play for an extra 8 minutes, whereas with league, you get one play once the hoot is gone and that's it. So what if you just made rugby 90 minutes, but the clock never stopped, and then once the hooter goes, one last play, one phase?
Agree or disagree with them?
I think that's all right. That speeds it up because it forces teams to keep the ball in play, keep the ball moving.
Alafosio Alapate says, he's talking about Matthew Burke here, who we spoke to during the week, mentioned the offside line. He's absolutely right. All the faults we currently have in our game, the offside line is the most important. I'm not so sure that it's the most important, but I am a big, firm believer. I would like to see the broken lines at 5 metres right across the field. And we've had a few
10
South African fans here who've said, okay, this is in play in universities over there or something. And I didn't know that. But if it's true, I'd like to see it. And Super Rugby would be a great time to experiment at it, or NPC or something, just to see where players are. Yeah. You can then freeze frame it and go, in actual fact, the whole game, they've been offside at every single ruck. And because the great thing about rugby and rugby league, and rugby league is the worst at it in terms of policing the offside.
Which is strange because they have those 10 metre.
They have those 10 metre things, and the ref just never gets to see that. The whole thing is we're trying to create space because we want to see the best players with the ball in their hands doing amazing things, and you've got to have that space in rugby. And the linos are so petrified at getting anything wrong. They're staring down the line and don't see it and don't put their flags up. So something has to be done. I think that's a really important change in the rule. Albion Pukeko says, and this is quite an angry text, and I want to read this one. This message
is it in
here.
caps?
No, but this is about a message to Scott Robertson. Don't insult our supporters by saying the team turned a corner in Europe. They ran into a bus at Twickenham. I haven't seen a convincing performance or complete 80-minute game in 2 years. That hurts because I feel this team is capable of much more. It's the lack of accountability and wordplay that annoys me. Treat us with some respect. Tell it how it is. Don't talk mumbo-jumbo like we're fools. You're accountable to us volunteers at Ripper Rugby with the kids in the morning, putting up the pads on the post and the clubs, all of that. He goes on.
Who's he having a crack at? You or the All Blacks?
He's just having a crack, I think, at NZR and the All Blacks as well. And this whole idea, that quote from Razor where he said, we've turned a corner this year. And none of us believe that. Now, there's no All Black fan. Well, maybe there is. I don't think the team turned a corner this year at all. I think after the England result, we went backwards after that result.
Or maybe the coaches and the players feel that they turned a corner after the England game, or maybe after the Wales game. Maybe they think something clicked in one of those prep weeks and they've figured something. I don't know. But
it's a pretty hard comment to actually believe.
Well, until you see it on the field, you can't really say that.
Yeah. So I agree with you, caller. Mark Brinkler is talking about, and this is Matt Burke as well. Matt Burke was bringing in a 20 test rule, or the Giteau law was 50 or 60 tests, wasn't it? I think it was 50. It's just about whether or not we start picking players from overseas again. Pat Lam is on the show on Monday. He's going to be talking about this. I like the idea of the 50 test rule, or whatever it is, where you've played so many matches for the All Blacks. We know what you are and what you are capable of at that stage. You then can go overseas and then you can be picked to play from overseas. That's probably how they're going to have to relax this law, I think, All Blacks, New Zealand rugby. Because I don't think that we can sustain for the next 10 years that we can't pick players from overseas.
So for a number of years I've had this idea, not that I'm breaking new ground and Einstein with the lab coat and all frizzy hair everywhere, but I've had this kind of theory that we could mimic what New Zealand cricket does with its contract system, where they tag like 20 guys a year or something, or offer them contracts, but kind of change the meaning of it. We pick 35 to 40 of our best All Blacks. And I'm talking like a team, say, that you take to the World Cup. So right now, who's raises 36 for the World Cup? Because I think it's 36 they usually take. And then add a couple more to that. Those guys are free to go and negotiate contracts with Japan, France, England, South Africa. They can play for, the Bulls or the Lions if they want, whatever. They can go play overseas. They can play against these top clubs. Then we keep sort of below that 40. And this, I sort of worked out the players and who they'd be. Below that 40 would be free to play Super Rugby here, and then you change the rules within Super Rugby where Aussies can play for Kiwi sides and Kiwis can play for Aussie sides. There's some good players still there. I think like some of them were, for example, like Harry Godfrey is one of the first fives. I mean, Tavita Mafaleo was one of the props. I think one of the outside backs was a guy called Bailey Sullivan. There's Riley Higgins of the Hurricanes, I'm a big fan of. Anyway, still some good talent. But what it allows our best talent to go overseas and be battle-hardened against these other sides, and so we can actually put this theory to the test that is that actually going to help us out, and then it allows us still to build up and give probably more opportunities to our players here and give them more hard rugby experience in Super Rugby against the Aussies as well. So it kind of builds up both. The only issue I think with it is you'd have to work around the calendar a little bit, but the other international sides do it, so maybe we'd have to make it a global calendar, mimic football. And I would fear that the gap then between our best and our next tier, so the 40 best and then the next below it, would widen.
Yeah.
And also year on year, you'd have to have maybe you'd change it. So like, for example, there could be 4 guys who went overseas who didn't play to standard in the All Blacks. You go, but there's 4 guys in Super Rugby that I really like. They can now go
There
overseas.
are flaws, and there's never a perfect system, I don't think. And so I think that all of these ideas have to be considered. The overall argument to me is, do you do it or do you not do it? And the longer we cling to this thing of we're never going to do it, I think it's probably
they want to control their own players.
Sure, I understand
the
that.
way the contracts work with the All Blacks and New Zealand Rugby, they're combined contracts.
But but then again, there's all these loopholes where guys go on sabbaticals and go overseas and play. Okay, so and those guys are rewarded because of their status in the All Blacks, right? So all we're doing is just saying, my idea is, if you played 50 tests, you've achieved enough for the All Blacks. You can go, and we can select you from overseas. Doesn't mean we're going to.
Did it improve the Wallabies when they brought in the Gouges law?
Well, I think it does with guys like Skelton and that. He changes their team.
But the law was brought in years ago, like 10 years ago.
There's not that many of them. There's not that many. I love this comment from Peter Moore. We've got a couple to go. No wonder the All Blacks are shit. It's because of negative comments like yours, Martin. A non-believer. I'd be happy with 4 wins in South Africa, but with these current coaches, the All Blacks are going to win none. I replied and I said, hi, Peter, the All Blacks are definitely not shit, as you say. I don't believe that they are at all. I believe that there's enough signs there that we saw this year that there is real promise in that team. And that I honestly believe we can get it right for the World Cup. And I do believe that even next year with the South African tour that we can play a hell of a lot better than we did this year. So we're not shit at all. The other thing, Peter, is I don't play. So, nothing I say has any influence on these guys whatsoever.
Yes,
Nothing.
it does. It's all your fault. It's always the media's fault. Isn't that what the players and the coaches say? It's our fault?
He goes on to say, if they're not shit, what are they then? Fantastic, they're complete garbage. So hang on a second. You're accusing me of saying that, but it's,
You're doing what you're accusing Martin of.
Yeah. Look,
what's his name? Peter.
Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I get that everyone is very invested in this, and we all have our emotions in turmoil at various times. But nothing that gets said on any podcast, any media, none of it has any. The players live in this bubble. The only outside noise they absorb is the ones that they choose, which is their Instagram accounts, people loving them, the All Blacks media, which is all just fawning kind of shit. That's all they don't watch this kind of stuff. They don't care. They really don't. One thing that stunned me when they went overseas for the Grand Slam tour was that press conference where there are 4 All Blacks there. Not one of them could explain what the Grand Slam was. I mean, not even you would think just curiosity would actually, why are people talking about this?
Okay, well, did someone ask them what it means?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And
I remember them saying that we'd done it 3 or 4 times in the past.
But they didn't have any really good historical knowledge. None of them actually had even gone back through a book or looked it up or thought, I was stunned. It was kind of like, I thought you're caretakers of the jersey. Remember, that's what we constantly get told. That this stuff is meant to be important to you, isn't it?
I don't know.
History of the All Blacks is meant to be important to you as an All Black. You've been continually told this.
I'm more interested in them winning a test than sitting down and doing their homework on the history of the jersey, to be honest. Maybe that sounds a bit disrespectful to the past. I respect the past, love the past, but I want
the only reason that they get paid is because of those guys
played in the
but
also the only reason why this team is going to continue to be great is a test. Do that first. That's more important.
Their duty is to those guys that have created this legacy for them. That's who their duty is to. That's what we get told. If that's the case, stop telling us this narrative.
Okay, yeah, but
stop talking all this rubbish.
But in the great scheme of things, I'd rather them, and I think you're the same, I'd rather them win a test than sit there and give us a 30-minute soliloquy about how wonderful the past was. No, I'm not being disrespectful.
I think it's important that you know where you've come from and why you actually got this privileged position.
Win first, though. That's what I'm more worried about.
3 strikes and you're out, and this is how we finish. And these are all at the Moose.
Oh.
Mark Dawes, the only show you've done I've switched off halfway. This guy you have on is a real chop.
Thank you, Mark. Keep watching. Keep listening.
That is followed by Jeff3175. I never thought I'd see the day where a young Burt Reynolds dropped Cam Roigard.
Oh. What? I didn't drop Roigard. What?
And then this one.
What?
What has the 5-foot-something producer of yours done to warrant his opinion being broadcast to the audience? He's a Brisbane Broncos fan, I believe.
I am a Brisbane Broncos
fan.
So
let's go through this.
I saw that comment. They put speech marks next to the fan. I'll have you know, I've been supporting the Broncos since 2008, and we've been through some highs. Tell you what, some blimmin' lows as well, the wooden spoon in 2020. I love that team. Don't put those speech marks next to the fan.
If he's a chop,
What does that mean, by the way, chop?
Well, what does that mean? My packet of sausage has been left in the sun.
Chop.
If he's a chop, put him on the barbecue and turn him twice. Burt Reynolds, that is a compliment.
I like that one.
You don't want to be
For
called.
sure.
I mean, this is Burt Reynolds, right? You see on the screen. He was money in the 70s. He was the biggest he-man before Tom Selleck and then bought the moustache and everything out. And you don't want to be Ned Beatty in Deliverance.
Is he the pig guy?
Yeah, you want to be Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds has never not been anything other than cool, except when he started doing his facelift
That's a
stuff.
compliment. Are there any more criticisms? I like that.
And also the 5 foot tall thing. Well, stand up and prove yourself.
Hold up. Well, I say I'm 6 foot.
Oh, you are not. There's only one rule of qualification for the 6 foot club. There's only one rule.
What, you don't have to tell people about your height?
You are 6 foot. That's it.
Well, okay. I say that I'm 6 foot, and if I'm wearing some boots,
Here we go.
then yeah, I might crack 6 foot. 5'11", 5'11" and a half, maybe.
6 foot club. That is mailbag this week.
Also,
Thank you.
if you're bringing up half as well, if you're saying you're something and a half,
Oh, just stop
means-
it, mate. Just stop it, mate.
if you're 6'6",
Honestly,
you don't
I'm
say 6 foot 6 and a half,
you know?
do you? Yeah,
Stop it,
no one
mate,
says that.
please.
If they're actually tall.
Leave us another comment about this and we'll comment again next week. Big thanks from the Devlin Sports Podcast team to the Novus Glass team for sponsoring this episode of DSPN. Novus Glass loves backing Kiwis and supporting New Zealand. In fact, every Novus Glass job helps plant native trees. And so far, they've donated over 20,000 native trees. So if your windscreen gets chipped or cracked, it's your chance to make a difference and back the team doing good in New Zealand. Just call your local Novus Glass branch direct. Notice it, Novus it.
DSPN.